If everyone is honest, most guys will admit what they do in the bedroom is not what they want to do. That's the truth. What they do in the bedroom, they're thinking about, oh, what is she experiencing? How is she seeing me? What is she feeling? What is she thinking about me? That's what they're doing in the bedroom. Ultimately, that's the truth. Most guys, that's how they do it. That's not masculine. That's not the real power. The real power is, I don't care what she's thinking. I don't care if she's having fun or she's not having fun. Now then, obviously, the ideal is that she's actually also being obsessed and she's in pleasure and so on. But not because you're trying to make her do that, just because that's how it is. That's the ideal. But the masculine part of that experience is the fact that you don't care, whether or not. Now, as a human being, you might care. Like if you have a wife, you want your wife to be happy, that's different. But as a man, that's not really masculine, that all of this stuff that you open porn, they're degrading the women and they're lowering them and they're abusing them. But people think like, oh, and the guys are like dominant and masculine. No, they're not. They're also feminized, nothing degraded, because they're obsessed with the reaction of these women. And they're choking them and hitting them and all of these things because they're obsessed with their reaction. Why would you do it? Unless you care about the reaction of the person. There's no masculine way to choke a woman during sex. That's not masculine because you're focused on her reaction. But because there's no masculinity, then the only way for people to be turned on, to be seduced, is to add this constriction, this domination, this degradation. Because when there's no masculinity, the only thing that you can add is you need some kind of power, because it's the power that's attractive. But when there's no power, because there's no masculinity, they add the, whatever it depends, depending on whatever a person's kinks and perversions are. But a certain kind of abuse or degradation, I will say, domination. Domination, it doesn't sound strong enough. Let's call it degradation. A certain degradation has to be added. Because when there's no masculinity and the guy's obsessed with your reaction, he at least needs to pretend like he doesn't care. So if he hits you, there's sort of a psychological trick where it's like, oh, he must not care. But why is he hitting you if he doesn't care? If he's hitting you, it means he cares. If he's choking you, it means he cares what you feel and he wants you to think that he's like whatever. So, but it gives a psychological trick as if he doesn't care, because like, oh, he's like treating me badly. That's why it's attractive. But the real attraction is if he actually doesn't care. Like he's actually just having sex, like you're just like, he's using you. That's what's actually attractive. And for men and for women, that's what's healthy. Now, obviously as a human being, and ideally if he's a capable man, then she's going to be in a lot of pleasure as well. But that is not his obsession. His focus and perspective of the sex is in a masculine fashion, not in a little boy obsessed with the experience of this girl. However beautiful she is, sometimes you're shocked. You're like, this girl really is beautiful. Like, she's like really beautiful. But after you finished having sex with her, it's like you look at her and you're like, it doesn't even make sense. It's like, I just see a human being. Like you look at the girl and you're like, it's just a human being, like the same pieces of meat and fat on her body, which before were, wow, it's just like, yeah, she has some meat hanging there. It's like a lump of like plastic, which it could be fake, could be real, like doesn't really matter. It's just like some physical object that's attached to her chest or the side of her leg. And, but in the moment you're tricked. Because you're obsessed with her reaction, how she's never felt something like this before. Who cares? This is the real trick of the West. Because this is not called being a man. And it's also not called being a woman. But it's easier to understand the man part because we think, oh, the man is the one who dominates. But if you care about, her reaction, that's not really being a man. If you're a man, you don't care about her reaction. You just have sex like, hey, come here. That's just it. You just have sex. That's like the real male instinct. This whole thing of like, you know, these rappers and porn stars and Hollywood actors, this whole thing of like, oh, he's sleeping with girls and all of this stuff. Anybody that's actually tried it, you know it's a scam. It's nothing like, you can't win the game. It's not possible to win it because you're playing a game where you care about her reaction or their reaction. Maybe it's multiple, maybe it's that it's a whole crowd if you're a rock star. Ultimately, you care about their reaction. You're obsessed with like, wow, look how they love me. So they have the power because you care about the fact that how they think about you. So you think you're winning because they think about you positively and they're throwing themselves at you, but you're not winning because it's a game you can't win. You cannot be satisfied because you want what you wanted from them. You don't have it, you know? You're saying, I don't have it because you're getting whatever you think that is going to satisfy you. It's not going to satisfy you. The real sexual satisfaction cannot come from that, oh, they want me. The real masculine satisfaction, it's coming from something which you have within yourself. And you have that experience with her. But it's not because of her that you're having it. She's just a part of that process. And that's ultimately what the woman wants also, but she follows. So that's why it doesn't really matter to tell the woman what to do because, you know, she can't do it unless there's the guy to follow. She cannot follow. So it doesn't really matter. And if there's the guy who's like this, then all women follow. That's the guy that they want. So it doesn't really matter to talk to the woman much unless you're a mother and you're teaching your son. Then you can explain this. But if as a guy you're interested in what women think of you, then it's kind of, you know. This is why I'm making this video, is because it's obvious if I tell you like a guy, he's just focused on himself, he's making his money, he's doing his business, he's taking care of his body. You're like, well, yeah, of course, that's like the most attractive guy. That's who all the girls are going to want. But we're so screwed up in our Western secular degradation. I don't want to call it perversion, something like this. That when it comes to the sexual bedroom, we don't understand. We forget. We don't really. It's the same in the bedroom. Nothing changed. If he's focused on her reaction, he's not really masculine. This trick, it's really the problem because this is, you know, people think that they're masculine men, but then at the end of the day, you see however much money or muscles or whatever they have, they're still chasing after women. They're still obsessed with, they spend so much time and energy with spending time with these women to get more and more women or to get higher status women or whatever it is. But it's all about the reaction of the women, and they go on the dates. You know, this is the whole thing. Like these people, they think they're like millionaires, billionaires, and they go on dates with these women. Like they go on dates, they don't want to be on the date. This is the thing, like women, you don't understand. We don't want to be on the date. Why would for what? I would prefer if you tell a guy, you tell him, look, there's this girl, high status, beautiful, virgin, never slept with any guy who talks to her, she doesn't even she doesn't reply. Not that she's talking to everyone and sleeping with everyone. No, she doesn't talk to anyone, never slept with anyone. But with you, she will sleep with you first night right now, no date. Every guy's gonna say yes. It shows that it's the reason why if I were to say like, oh, she'll sleep with you right now, why most guys would say no, it's the reason that, oh, what kind of girl is she if she's gonna do that? You know, there's something wrong with her. But if she's virgin and meaning she's not because of her character doing that, but because of who you are. But ultimately, that's what guys want. We don't want to sit on a date for what? So these guys, these millionaires and whatever, they're like high status, whatever, but then they go and sit on these dates. They don't want to be there. Trust me, I tell you, as any guy we know, they don't want to be there. They don't care. The only reason they're on the date is it's like a, serenade seduction thing. That's the truth. If you tell a guy, look, you can have a girl who, whenever you have sex with her, she'll, whatever, lose her mind, whatever, it doesn't matter. But you're not going to try to do that. You don't care. And you're not going to try and make her happy particularly. She's just going to be around. And whenever you want sex, she's there. And she wants to just do whatever you want. She just wants to make you happy. That's what most guys want. So in fact, why most guys are so obsessed in the bedroom with, you know, having sex and getting that reaction is because they're obsessed with that girl's perception of them. And that's not masculine. The masculine is that you don't care about what she thinks of you. You're just yourself. You're on your path forward. And that's a real woman, is a woman who wants that man. Which is why I don't want to talk about the women, because all women are like that. If they have the choice, that's the man they're going to pick. All of them, no matter how brainwashed or not brainwashed they are, that's who they're going to pick, basically. So really the problem is with the men, because ultimately, yeah. Honestly, it's like, it's very surprising. People are so obsessed with saying, oh, the women this and the women that, but women, like, if you show me like a real king, honest king, powerful king, that's who women want. You can show me whatever. She's a prostitute, she's got all the tattoos, the piercings, whatever. She calls herself a feminist. She's also going to pick that king. I can tell you from experience, I know. Doesn't matter, whatever feminists, they're still women at heart. They want to be very feminine. It's just that they don't have that experience.